If you think you've seen everything there is to see from Kelly Ripa after decades on morning television, think again, because what happened in this interview stopped viewers in their tracks, left even longtime fans wiping away tears, and revealed a side of Kelly that no one, not even her closest audience, was prepared for. This wasn't just another celebrity sit-down. This was a moment of raw truth, quiet courage, and emotional honesty that felt less like television and more like a conversation we've all been waiting to have, especially those of us who've lived a little, loved a lot, and lost more than we ever expected. From the very first seconds, something felt different. Kelly didn't walk into the interview with her usual sparkle-first energy. There was a pause, barely noticeable, but unmistakable. A breath that lingered just a second longer than normal. And in that pause, viewers sensed it. This was not going to be a polished story wrapped in humor. This was going to be real. And as the interview unfolded, it became clear that Kelly wasn't just talking about her life. She was opening a door to memories many of us have tried to quietly lock away. She began by reflecting on the idea of showing up, a phrase she said countless times over the years. But this time, her voice softened. She spoke about how showing up doesn't always mean being strong. Sometimes, she said, it means sitting with discomfort, sitting with grief, sitting with questions that don't have neat answers. And right there, in that moment, you could feel an entire generation leaning closer to the screen, because how many of us know exactly what that feels like? Then came the first emotional turn. Kelly spoke about time, not as a schedule, but as a thief and a teacher. She talked about how quickly life moves once you reach a certain age, how one moment you're raising children, building careers, juggling responsibilities, and the next moment you're looking back wondering how decades slipped through your fingers. Her eyes filled, but she didn't rush past it. She let the silence breathe. And in that silence, fans felt seen. She shared how becoming an empty nester hit her harder than she ever admitted publicly. Not because she wasn't proud of her children, but because motherhood had been such a defining role. When that role changes, she said, you don't just miss the noise, you miss who you were during that chapter. That revelation struck a deep chord with viewers who know the quiet ache of a once full house, and suddenly, the interview stopped being about Kelly Ripa and became about all of us. Just when viewers thought they understood where the conversation was headed, Kelly pivoted in a way no one expected. She began talking about vulnerability in marriage, specifically how long relationships evolve in ways that can feel both comforting and frightening. She spoke honestly about the unspoken fears that come with growing older alongside someone you love. The fear of losing them. The fear of becoming unrecognizable to each other. And then she said something that left the room completely still. You don't fall in love once. You fall in love again, and sometimes you're terrified you won't know how to do it one more time. That line alone sent social media into an emotional spiral, but Kelly wasn't done. She went on to describe a moment late one night when she realized she had been performing strength instead of actually feeling it. She admitted that being the cheerful, dependable presence millions expect her to be had slowly trained her to hide pain, even from herself. And then came the moment fans are still talking about. Kelly paused, her voice cracked, and she said she didn't know how long she had been brave, without being honest. For viewers in their 60s, this moment landed with particular weight. Because how many of us were raised to keep going, to push through, to smile, to handle it quietly? Kelly's confession felt like permission to finally say, I'm tired, or I miss who I used to be, or even, I don't know what comes next. And just when the interview seemed emotionally full, Kelly introduced a memory that shifted everything. She spoke about her parents, about watching them age, about the reversal of roles that no one prepares you for. She described the strange mix of gratitude and grief that comes with realizing your heroes are human, fragile, and finite. As she spoke, her hands trembled slightly, and viewers could see her fighting the weight of it all. She recalled a simple moment, one that didn't make headlines, but changed her forever. A quiet conversation, a look exchanged, a realization that time doesn't slow down just because you want it to. That moment, she said, taught her that love isn't measured in years, it's measured in presence. And suddenly, the tears came, not just from Kelly, but from thousands watching at home who recognized that truth instantly. Then came the cliffhanger no one expected. Kelly leaned forward and said there was something she had never shared publicly before, not because it was scandalous, but because it scared her to say it out loud. She admitted that she had gone through a period where she questioned her purpose after decades in the same role. She asked herself, if I wasn't the host, if I wasn't the mom on the go, if I wasn't the reliable one, who was I? The bravery of that question stunned viewers. She spoke about reinvention, not as a dramatic reinvention, but a quiet one. One that happens internally. One where you learn to honor the past without living in it. She said that aging isn't about losing relevance, it's about gaining clarity. And with that, the interview transformed from emotional to deeply inspirational. Kelly reminded viewers that it's never too late to rediscover curiosity. Too late to speak truths you've buried. Too late to choose joy without apology. And then she smiled, softly, sincerely, and said something that fans are still quoting. The second half of life isn't a decline, it's a revelation. But just when the audience thought they had reached emotional closure, Kelly delivered one final, unexpected moment. She addressed her viewers directly. She thanked them, not for watching, but for growing with her, for staying, for allowing her to change. And then she said, if you're watching this and feeling like you're standing at the edge of something unknown, I want you to know, I'm standing there too.